Let's speak now to Jawn Murray, TV presenter and commentator. He's in Washington, D.C. right now. Good to talk to you. You know as well as anybody that news moves pretty fast. Is this still news over there?
Mike, let me tell you, there's a saying that says what a difference a day makes. So all last week, there were a lot of British experts, a lot of royal experts all over American television talking about what a lot of people in the U.S., particularly a lot of the Hollywood stars that rallied behind Meghan Markle, believed was a smear campaign, that whole story of alleged bullying in the palace. And a lot of those were commentators were talking about that and acting as though it was a serious investigation that was going to take place. Can I tell you that after Sunday night, those same experts were all over television talking about how damning this was to the palace, how the palace was going to have to respond, that this was historic and no one had ever seen anything like it before. Hollywood rallied behind Meghan Markle, and African-American people in particular who are still fighting for racial and social injustice in the U.S. Their story, Prince Harry and Meghan, about baby Archie and the color of his skin, that really resonated with people. It evoked so much emotion. There were parallel synergies with some of the things we're dealing with here, and it has dominated the news cycle all week long.
So, Jawn, 61-word response from Buckingham Palace. Does that do the job?
Not at all, Mike. It felt hollow. It felt insincere. And let me tell you, there is a roaring cry all over television here that the palace is very dismissive of the claims of racism, that they spent more energy talking about what people believe are the fictitious claims of bullying, and they still are mum as a church mouse on the claims of Prince Andrew's sex allegations with Jeffrey Epstein. Where is the priorities of the palace? This is something that's going to deal with. They have to deal with. Now, are people shocked that there could be alleged racism or racial insensitivity in the palace? No, but I don't think anyone expected that it would be this flagrant, this blatant. This is a preposterous story, and the palace cannot move forward, particularly with the Queen governing so many nations, with people of color being the dominant race. And having this out there in the world for everyone to take in.
We should say, of course, I guess that Prince Andrew denies absolutely that he had any knowledge of or played any part in the things that Jeffrey Epstein is accused of. What message do you think it sends? Obviously, it's a commendable message to see someone with apparently all kinds of advantages speaking openly about mental health, but then to see that person, yes, getting some support, but also being trashed to the extent that a TV presenter walks out of a studio, in fact, walks out of his job because another presenter takes issue with his right to say he doesn't believe anything Meghan says. What message does all this convey, would you say?
Well, I'll say that Piers Morgan and his exit from that particular show was a Christmas present come early for my favorite people over in Britain. That was a long overdue situation. We know that he had a vendetta. He's angry that she never followed up after they had a personal engagement. They went out for drinks or something and he never heard from her again. He's had axe to grind with her for a long time. But beyond that, this story has played out really like something that felt like a Hollywood movie. I mean, you have the prince who decided to abandon his family to become his wife's knight in shining armor. They moved to Hollywood and they were rescued by a black Hollywood mogul, Tyler Perry, who gave them refuge and security, and a black woman, Oprah Winfrey, who gave them a platform to tell their truth. I don't know if you could have scripted a better story in any of the movies that have been the biggest blockbusters, and definitely this isn't something they could even predicted on that show, The Crown.
Jawn Murray, thank you for talking to us.
Anytime, Mike. Anytime.